is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Florida.
The weather is still perfect in South Florida, and the Milwaukee Brewers are enjoying the sunshine. The Marlins trying to bounce back after a couple straight losses to the Phillies. Roof wide open, windows open, little bit of a breeze. The Fish and the Brewers just saw each other about a week and a half ago. Marlins won 2 of 3 in Milwaukee. They meet again. Willie Peralta for the Brewers, and a Jose day, so to speak. Jose gets the start. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, Preston Wilson with me tonight. Marlins and Brewers. That was a fun series up in Milwaukee, and I think the Marlins have to feel pretty good about these next 3 games.
Well, I think they feel like they got a team that they can compete with. I like that they got the number 2 batting team going against the worst pitching for the Brewers. So I think right now, if the Marlins take care of business, this could be a series to be had for them.
Well, although the Marlins, fresh in their mind, 2 losses to the Phillies. However, they've got Jose on the mound, and Jose in this ballpark is terrific. Everybody knows that. Jose in Miami is hard to beat. In fact, at 29 starts, he is 19-1.
It has been home sweet home indeed. He's been dominant in this ballpark. There seems to be something special that happens when he steps on the mound here in Miami.
And Fernandez, look importantly at that whip. That's walks and hits per innings pitched. It's under 1 per inning. Now, Willie Peralta started the game that the Brewers won up in Milwaukee. And man, did he get knocked around. But he won the game. He gave up 13 hits, but hung in there enough to beat the Fish.
Well, I think if the Marlins have learned anything, is that you got to find a way to not just get hits, but score runs. This guy's a quality pitcher. He does have good stuff, and he won't quit on you. So guys like that, you have to finish him off. You can't just have him on the ropes.
And since the Marlins saw him, the Brewers have won 5 of 8. In the leadoff spot, 3 leading candidates. We'll introduce them when we return. presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Brewers, Marlins. Marlins part out to center field. We lead it off with Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine.
All right, Rich, beautiful night. Roof is open here, and the Marlins, since D. Gordon has been out of the lineup, back not until July 29th, have been mixing and matching, trying to find that right leadoff guy. They've had success with all three guys they put in there since D's been out of the lineup.
Yeah, Don Mattingly's really trying to do an experimental type program at that leadoff spot. And you know what? I think he's going to do it with a lot with matchups. And you see who's done that so far. Ichiro hitting .308 in that leadoff spot. Derek Dietrich there tonight. The third time he's going to be in the leadoff spot, hitting .222. A little bit of power there, too, at the leadoff spot, which is nice. And then JT Realmuto, a catcher that had very good success there in the leadoff spot.
Marlins are 4-0 when Realmuto bats first in the lineup. And sometimes it depends on who the pitcher is, if he wants the lefty up and so on. It was a game earlier this year where he put Dietrich down a little bit because he wanted him lower in the order. But Derek Dietrich gives you an interesting guy to lead off a ball game. He hustles, he'll get on base via hit by pitch sometimes, and he's got that power element, which sometimes is a factor later when you need a double, but the bottom of the order gets on base.
Yeah, like they always say, you're only a leadoff hitter once in the entire game, and that's in the first inning.
Yeah.
And after that, he's going to have opportunities to drive in some runs, and he's going to be able to do that with his power.
And he's done a good job defensively, too, for the Marlins. The other night, in fact, the Marlins made a couple of switches, moved him to third base to stay in the game defensively as well. All right, so Brew Crew and the Marlins. Game one of this three-game series is next on Fox Sports Florida. Enjoy.
Jose Fernandez getting ready to face the Milwaukee Brewers as the Fish and the Brewers kick off a three-game series. How about that? Little autograph for a start. Don't get that very often from a starting pitcher. I got to go to work, kids. And this is the lineup that Jose faces, brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
The Brewers send out Jonathan Villar in the leadoff spot. Alex Presley's playing right, batting second. Ryan Braun, Chris Carter, Kurt Neuenhuis, Colin Walsh are the middle of that lineup. Martin Maldonado is catching. Yadiel Rivera, second base, and Willie Peralta is the pitcher.
And that is Jose Fernandez on the mound and ready to go. You see the numbers, and of concern, the low amount of innings, the high amount of walks. And one of the things that Juan Nieves talked about today is getting Jose to be a little more economical and not be afraid of early action in an at-bats.
That's going to be key for him. He's got to throw the fastball more. He's got to be aggressive with his fastball early. And I also think he needs to save those secondary pitches for later in the game. I think he's showing way too much to these hitters early in the game, and I think that's why that second at bat, third at bat, if he gets to it, they're able to battle him so much better because they've already seen those secondary pitches.
Okay, the strikeouts per 9 innings not only leads the National League, it's an all-time high right now as far as Jose goes. That's the good news. The bad news is his walks per 9 inning are double what they were last year, and that is a career high as well. And so you just do the math, and he ends up getting near 100 pitches in 5 innings. Marlins would love to get him through 6, maybe get him into the 7th. Perry Hill smiling at the defense, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Christian Yelich, Marcelo Zuna, and Giancarlo Stanton in the outfield. On the corners, Martin Prado, Justin Bour up the middle, Adeiny Echevarria and Derek Dietrich with JT Realmuto behind the plate working with Jose against a Brewers team that has won 5 of their last 8 since the Marlins saw them, including 2 in a row against the Reds. And a first pitch sails out to Jonathan Villar, the young shortstop, adjusting. Well, he said, heck, I don't need the pad on my right elbow anymore. Didn't feel quite right, tosses it out. And here's the 1-0 from Jose. That is a base hit down the third baseline. Yelich into the corner to pick it up. Well, you got to feel comfortable up there. Villar said, to heck with this big contraption on my right elbow. And he slices a double down the line.
This ball just rides a little bit up in the strike zone. On the outer part of the plate, it's just up. Villar does a good job just letting it get there, just putting a nice, easy stroke on it. That's what you want your leadoff guy to do, not try to do too much with it. Get your offense started. He's on second base right now.
This is a Brewer team that can swing the bats. And the Marlins saw that up in Milwaukee, that game that Willie Peralta started. He got just a little bit of run support, 14 runs. And a 14-5 win. This is Alex Presley, the right fielder. Ryan Braun is on deck. And then Chris Carter, both Braun and Carter had good series against the Marlins up in Milwaukee. A ball and a strike to Presley. Brewers are 5 under in a rebuilding mode. A few familiar names, one of which is not in the lineup for Craig Counsell, the former Marlin. And that's Jonathan Lucroy, who gets the night off with Fernandez on the mound.
Jose Fernandez is being aggressive with his fastball right now, which is great. And he has to learn that even if I do give up an early hit, it doesn't mean that I can't pitch around it. But I think it's going to make him much more economical to keep throwing fastballs like this. Just going to have to hit his location.
1-2 breaking ball misses away, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jose Fernandez and the Milwaukee Brewers have never faced each other. Only one other National League team Jose has not seen, and that's the Chicago Cubs. 2-2. Fastball up, and it's 3-2 to Presley.
Just rushing a little bit. You know, sometimes you get that 1-2 count on the batter. You want to be in such a hurry to put him away. The fastball there is up. He rushed with it. The breaking ball before that, he came out of it a little quick. Ball stayed up and away.
Lost him. Walked him. Presley is on his way to first. So a double and a walk. Not a great start for Jose. And he has to face Ryan Braun, Chris Carter, and then Kirk Neuenhuis for the Brewers.
The Milwaukee Brewers have 2 batters right now that are really swinging the bat. One that's Lucroy and Braun. And right now, you're going to have to navigate through the middle of this order. Even though Lucroy isn't playing today, you got to deal with Ryan Braun right now with 2 men on.
And one of the best in baseball right now with men in scoring position is Braun. He showed that up in Milwaukee, had a couple of run scoring hits, and he's only hitting a cool .481 with runners in scoring position this year.
It might be time for a meeting, because every pitch that Fernandez has thrown this inning has been up or up and away, and that tells me he's not in sync. The arm's not being able to catch up. He's rushing a little bit. Same thing, ball on the arm side. And here's your meeting.
JT Realmuto is out, and certainly some concern from the Marlin bench as well, and that's very un-Jose-like. But as we noted, the walks are up. Now strikeouts are up, but the walks are up as well. He's 2-0 right now with VR at second, Presley at first, Juan Nieves, Don Mattingly watching. Braun clobbers one, right center field deep. Stanton back at the wall, and he reaches and makes the catch. 390 feet away. Into third goes VR. Presley stays at first. My goodness.
The way the ball was flying in batting practice today, you thought that ball was out because it sounded good, but it got in on him just a little bit. Stanton does a really good job getting to the wall, and look at Braun's reaction. You know, he thinks he might have this one. He know what he was swinging with in batting practice today. He's like, oh, this will be, oh, so close.
That's a great reaction. That's a difference between a 3-0 game and a scoreless game, with a chance for Jose to get through this first without any damage. Chris Carter, though, can do some damage, and he showed that hitting 2 homers against the Marlins up in Milwaukee in the same game.
And that's the beauty of Jose Fernandez's fastball. Even one of the best hitters in the league right now, when you make a mistake, they can miss it. Because of your velocity, because of the movement, you don't have to try to trick everybody and get yourself into these 8-9 pitch at bats with guys who shouldn't be in there. He threw a fastball right there and was able to get away with it because he's got enough stuff to make a guy miss it.
Carter, one of the great all-or-nothing hitters in the game right now. Swings and misses at a fastball. Last 3 years with Houston, big home run numbers, 29, 37, and 24. And this year already with Milwaukee, he's got 10. And he's got 10 doubles.
That wasn't a very good swing on the fastball right there. But now, honestly, this might be the time that I'd like for Jose to try to trick him. You got to swing and miss guy. Get yourself this strikeout now. This is the guy that you want to try to trick.
Presley, the runner at first. VR, who has excellent speed, is at third base. Fastball, ground ball. Prado has it out there. Dietrich's turn out there. And Jose gets out of the inning. How about that? Brewers first and second with nobody out. A scare from Braun and a double play from Carter. Scoreless in Miami. Fernandez. Nice escape by Jose, and now Dietrich goes to work. Marlins lineup brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine. Preston.
Derek Dietrich's leading off. Martin Prado is second. Christian Yelich is in the 3-hole. Big G clean up. Justin Bour's fifth. Marcelo Ozuna batting sixth. JT Realmuto is seventh. Adeiny Echeverria is eighth. And Jose Fernandez, the kid, is ninth.
Nicely done. Derek Dietrich facing Willie Peralta. Busy week for Peralta. Thursday, the Peraltas welcomed a daughter, Ciara, into the family. He turned 27 yesterday, and here he is making a start against the team he saw last. 8 days ago, Peralta faced the Marlins. The Marlins knocked him around, but couldn't beat him. And Dietrich takes a strike. That's Mark Carlson behind the plate. Mike DeMiro at first. Ryan Blackney at second. Brian Gorman is at third base. And you see Dietrich's numbers against Peralta, 8 for 14. And a ground ball. Nice sliding stop there. A terrific play by Yadiel Rivera. Young up the middle with Villar and Rivera. Milwaukee's defense includes, it's brought to you by Southwest, by the way, Ryan Braun, Kurt Neuenhuis, the former Met, Alex Presley in right, Chris Carter, Colin Walsh at the corners, Villar and Rivera in the middle. And running against Martin Maldonado is not a good idea. He's one of the best, if not the best, throwing catcher in baseball.
Cannon.
So Dietrich robbed of a hit, and here's Prado. The numbers on Prado, just everything jumping right off the page. Last 13 games, 455 clip, 396 average is the best in baseball. He keeps hitting balls up the middle. That one falls for another hit, and it kicks by Neuenhuis, and Prado trudges into second. Nicely done. Martin Prado has found a home in the middle of the diamond, and it started last year in August.
Take advantage of the spacious outfield. Guys come here and play deeper. You're going to get some of these duck knocks. Neuenhuis really does a bad job of compounding the error. This ball's going to fall for a single. You got to recognize that, pull up, and when you get in no man's land, you got to put a body on it. You got to play goalie to keep that ball in front of you. But hey, the Marlins benefit from it. They got a man in scoring position like the Brewers started.
Here is Yelich. Couple of hops. Peralta turned around to look, and Prado was already at third base at that point. You're Maldonado saying no, 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 no. And they get the out. So Yelich fouls out, and here comes Stanton now. Your batting leaders with that hit, Prado's over 400, and it does go as a double. It'll be his 7th of the season. Here is Stanton, who had the day off until a pinch hitting appearance in the 9th when he struck out. Big shift on the infield, and Peralta with a fastball that misses down low. Stanton faced Peralta in that Sunday in Milwaukee and went 1 for 2 with a walk, a single, and an RBI. And the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The Marlins' resurgence coinciding with Stanton's revival at the plate. Run on that fastball carries it in. That one hit that Stanton had on that Sunday, his only hit against Willie Peralta, who's been good against the Marlins in 7 starts, 4-1, and an ERA in the 3s.
Been watching Peralta, and he's done a good job of expanding on both sides of the plate to Giancarlo. he'll run that sinker or fastball in off the plate, and that looked like kind of a slider or semi-cutter that he went on the outside part. So he's not letting G zone up on one part. You see how far those pitches are inside early in the count?
Yeah, nothing in the strike zone, and the count's 2-2. And he got him on a high fastball. And so Willie Peralta pitches out of trouble. Both offenses had their shots, and neither scored in the first. Jose Fernandez gets Kirk Neuenhuis, Colin Walsh, and Martin Maldonado. And a first pitch fastball is a strike. Neuenhuis, the strong outfielder, formerly a Met, has found a home in Milwaukee. Neuenhuis had a nice game against the Marlins up in Milwaukee. Had a 3-hit game, scored 3 runs. He takes away. Mets draft. That's a strike.
That's a quality strike. Good fastball in a low part of the zone. That's a quality strike. That's the Jose Fernandez that's going to get you deep in the games and win you a lot of ball games.
Breaking ball is low, and now it's 3-2. Jose didn't start off well in the first. Gave up a double to Jonathan Villar. Walked Alex Presley. And he walks Neuenhuis to open up the second. And so we've talked about the walk rate. Highest it's ever been for Jose. 4.3 walks per 9 innings. And he has 2 already in 2 innings here.
And it's important to note that his misses have been up and away mostly. That's a rhythm thing. That's a rushing a little bit. Your arm not catching up. You know, sometimes you just got to fight your way through it. You get out there, you're a little bit out of whack mechanically. You just hope that you can do enough to keep your team in the game until you get that feeling back.
Strike to Walsh.
We sit up here and talk about it, but it's not easy to make the adjustment in the middle of the game. The great guys can do it, but it's not a simple thing to
execute it.
Yeah, to be able to execute it, to process it mentally, understand what you're doing wrong without having someone come out the dugout and tell you, and to fix it on your own physically, get that rhythm back, get those mechanics back. It's not as easy as it sounds when we're just saying it.
Nothing is ever as easy as when we're just saying it. Walsh takes up. Colin Walsh is a Rule 5 draft pick. The Brewers plucked him from Oakland's system. That right on the border, right on the black and at the letters. The 2-2. That's up even more.
Yeah, you can see the frustration on Jose Fernandez. He's fighting his mechanics. You know, it's just one of those things where you just got to fight through it. Every day isn't going to be that day where you feel perfect out there. He's got to fight through it.
Fastball fouled out of play. And it's 3-2. It's really hard to know. I mean, look, you can look at number of strikeouts, and in that case, Jose's way up there. ERA certainly is not where you're accustomed to seeing it for Jose. It's above 4, which just doesn't look right next to his name from the previous years in the big leagues. Struck him out. Walsh thought he had walked. And strikeout number 1 for Jose. Derek Dietrich, leadoff hitter and promo reader tonight.
Join us today. Choose from prorated full season plans starting at $6 per game, half season plans, and 3 great 20-game mini plans. All season ticket plans include entry into the Fish Family Loyalty Program and guarantee you access to the 2017 All-Star Game. Go to Marlins.com.
Very nice.
You know what? That's pretty good. It's nice delivery, nice pace. I see you, D.
He learned an important trick from Jeff Conine, too.
Keep those glasses on.
Put the sunglasses on. Runner goes, hit and run, and Maldonado, who has just 1 hit this year, fouls it back to the screen. And Neuenhuis will head back to first base. And Maldonado, known for his defense, 1 for 19. And we told you that Willie Peralta missed his last start for the birth of his daughter. Well, Martin Maldonado is the godfather to Ciara Peralta. Dietrich ventures out. Stanton's coming in, and you got to get out of the way of the big man. Jose has a couple of outs. Yadiel Rivera. This is a part of the Brewers order where you have Walsh, Maldonado, Rivera, and Peralta that any pitcher should just not only go after but go right through. And Walsh is 4 for 38. Maldonado is 1 for 20. Rivera's hitting .209, and Peralta, the pitcher, is 0 for 8. So if you can get through Villar, Presley, Braun, and Carter, and Neuenhuis for that matter, you really should be able to go full speed ahead from there. Now the Brewers did lose, or I shouldn't say they lost them. Craig Counsell doesn't have him in the lineup, with Jose on the mound. A couple of right-handed bats get the night off. Jonathan Lucroy, very good hitter, and Aaron Hill, very hot hitter. He had a 3-home run game this past week.
He's going
again, and it's popped foul and out of play. You can see what Craig Counsell's doing here. I mean, he has guys that are having trouble just getting hits.
But I also think Neuenhuis sees something on Jose Fernandez, because he took off before Jose even flinched just now. He had a good, almost a 2-step jump before Jose moved.
Swing and a miss to the slider, and Jose strikes out Rivera. So another base runner, but another scoreless inning.
Está disponible en español a través del SAP y es presentado a ustedes por Kendall Toyota y West Kendall Toyota.
In Miami with the roof open, the rolling windows opening up to a gorgeous shot of downtown as the sun shines on the skyline. Barry Bonds watches over his hitters. And at the bottom of the second, Justin Bour, Marcell Ozuna, and JT Realmuto coming up. 80 degrees, humidity not a problem. There is a wind, and with the roof and the windows open, that wind not coming from the west, it's coming from the east. As Bour takes outside.
Coming into the season, the question was, does Barry Bonds have the mentality, the patience to be a hitting coach? Can he reach these players? Do you think that's been answered yet?
Yeah, to an extent, I would say. I mean, you watch. I mean, just look at the numbers. The Marlins, their patience is better at the plate. I think they're striking out a little less than they have in their past with these players. Guys like Marcell Ozuna seem to be getting a better idea of the strike zone. So yes, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, I think so far that's been answered.
I just think it's interesting because sometimes, you know, it could be a new hitting coach. It could be just hitters maturing.
Bour pulls one out to second baseman Rivera, who gets the out. And there's one out in the second. You know, Bonds himself put it in spring training and early in the season when people talked about and reporters asked him, hey, Barry, how are you going to help this guy? How are you going to help this guy? How do you do it? And look, Barry knows the drill. Longtime major leaguer, one of the, if not the greatest hitter ever. His father was a terrific player, and his father was a hitting coach. And Barry said, I can't really go to each hitter and say, I want to change this and I'm going to change that. He said, that would not be smart. But they will eventually come to me when they have questions or issues. I think the way he put it was, everybody bleeds. And even the best hitters are going to need help. And that's when a hitting coach is able to do his best work. Ozuna dribbles one into center field. That's a base hit.
I always find it very interesting to talk to Barry because the humility that he speaks with about hitting is in direct opposition to what you hear or what you may read sometimes. He speaks about hitting sometimes in almost a self-deprecating way as far as his approach. He'll say at times he's scared to death. Like, I've had conversations with him and you can't believe what he's saying because it doesn't match that outer image.
Well, and I think that helps him resonate with the Marlin hitters. That was the failing of Ted Williams as a hitting coach, from what I've read and from what I've heard. And Williams, you know, the hitter of his generation, manager and a hitting coach, he couldn't understand why other players didn't see the ball the way he saw it or felt the way he felt in the box. There's the 1-0. Realmuto, real deep, and gone!
Realmuto, they may have to take a look to see if he passed Ozuna at first base.
Realmuto was headed to first. Ozuna was headed back to first. If he passes him, then he's out. Let's watch. I mean, this ball went a long way. Into the sculpture it goes, but the real action was at first base. The Brewers are looking on replay right now. Whoa, that's close. Realmuto, and now the umpires are going to get together. Ozuna was racing back to the bag to tag up.
And I understand that because this is a big ballpark.
Realmuto's watching the home run. He doesn't even see Ozuna. And now he's surprised when Ozuna's coming back.
You know, you hate to say it. Maybe Real Muto knew for sure that that ball's going out of the ballpark, but his responsibility is to not overrun the guy in front of you. And we saw the ball early in the game that Braun hit that didn't quite go out, that people thought was questionable. I understand why Ozuna goes back on that ball, because he's going to be able to get to second.
Watch the Brewers dugout. Yeah, the dugout for the Brewers reacted quickly.
They were all over it. They saw it as soon as it happened. Got to see how this washes out.
Now that is a play that is one you can review, whether it's a missed base or a contact by a runner. So these 2 runs that sit up on the board right now may be coming off.
That'd be a shame. That's a great swing by Real Muto. That ball's out over the plate. He absolutely hammers it.
All right, now I guess the definition of passing him is in question. He overran the bag and then started towards second. And so the Brewers are challenging that Real Muto passed Ozuna in the base path.
That's interesting because Ozuna does eventually touch the base. Real Muto touched the base when he got there, but he kind of peeled out towards the outfield. But when Ozuna goes back...
Oh, here, hold on here. Now, this is the explanation to Craig Counsell. You probably tell from Counsell's reaction. He didn't look all that happy. We haven't received a call. Call is overturned. One run will score and 1 run is out. So the Marlins are going to get just 1 run out of this.
You play baseball a long time. You sit around. I have never seen this happen. And I don't know, does this affect the stat? Who gets the run scored? Who gets the hit? I mean, who gets the home run? Does Real Muto get the home run and Ozuna not get the run scored? Like, what happens here? So he gets no home run for this.
You know what, Preston, in one of the most famous games ever played, I believe it was Harvey Haddock's and his perfect game. Remember when he pitched 12 innings and ended up losing the perfect game?
Yes.
I want to say Henry Aaron or someone of that magnitude had the same thing happen. And so we'll determine if the home run counts. There's a fastball, and it misses in to Echeverria. But I believe Real Muto is out and Ozuna scores. There's a liner into right, and that's a base hit. And so Echeverria has a hit.
That's a shame. That's a shame for that to happen. But I tell you what, that's one of those lessons that you will never forget as a base runner or as a batter. Even though you hit that ball and you know it's out of the ballpark, Real Muto will always check that runner in front of him from now on to make sure he's not overtaking him. You know, and I understand what happened there. I saw the reaction from Ozuna. I don't understand why he tagged. I understand that Real Muto felt like he knew that ball was out of the ballpark. Just got to dot the T's and dot the I's and cross the T's.
The word from New York is that as Fernandez fouls it off, Real Muto out. Ozuna scores, and my guess is he does not get credit for a home run. And you could see the look on his face like, what do you mean I didn't get credit for a home run?
He's like, well, I hit it, didn't I? Oh, man, that's tough.
You know,
that's tough.
All right, so now, look, you've seen the play. Who's at fault? Is it Ozuna? Is it Real Muto? I mean, yeah, I know he was going back to tag up, but doesn't one or the other have to be aware of the other runner? Now the umpires, there's another discussion going on.
Whenever this happens, it's always the trailing runner's fault. because your job is as the trailing runner is to not overtake the guy in front of you. You know, I know it may sound bad because Realmuto hit the ball, and yes, he knew it was out of the ballpark, but you cannot overtake the guy in front of you. I mean, the guy in front of you may make a mistake, but still, you can't overtake him.
Jose rolls it out to short, and a confusing inning is over. The Marlins thought they had two. They'll have to settle for one. It's 1-0. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. By Warren Henry, now celebrating our 40th anniversary as Miami's best luxury dealer. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Well, the confusion reigns right now. JT Realmuto and Marcell Ozuna. Ozuna looks stunned, doesn't he? I mean, he has a look like I still don't know what happened.
I really don't. I'm right there with him. That's one of those things where when it happens, you never forget it, but at the time you're in shock, and he looks like he's in shock.
So Realmuto hits it out, but then passes him on the bases. Marlins get one run. Realmuto's out. The official score doesn't know whether to give a home run or an RBI or what. But apparently the official score is on the phone to New York as well. Jose's back to work. And he's got Willie Peralta to lead it off. And you know what? I was talking about, it's one of the most famous games ever played. It was Harvey Haddock's, who threw 12 innings of a perfect game against the Milwaukee Braves. How about that for irony? He lost the game in the 13th inning on a double by Joe Adcock. But Adcock actually hit the ball out of the park. There were runners at first and second. The runner at first was Henry Aaron, and Adcock passed Aaron. And that's how that game ended. That was 1959. Look out, right up the chute, and by Jose. Jonathan Villar is 2 for 2 with a double and a loud single.
He's seen the ball really well off of Jose. That's 2 really good swings for Villar. Lined the ball down the left field line for his first at bat for a double. Smashed that one back up the middle for a single.
Alex Presley now.
And Jose Fernandez promptly gets the ball down.
Little cheese head action.
Got a little Charlie Brown action. You'll get your mechanics right.
Runner goes. Throw it out at second, and it skips off of Dietrich's glove into center field. And VR has not only a stolen base, but he's 90 feet away on a throwing error by Real Muto.
Let's get another look at that. I couldn't tell if it skipped or if Dietrich just couldn't handle it. He came out there so quickly. It was almost like a semi-pitch out, and I thought that throw was on the money, but no, it hopped a little short hop. He couldn't handle it. Good try by Dietrich to try to corral that, but tell you what, Real Muto got out there in a hurry. That's a tough play for the second baseman to try to cover because you want to make that tag, but that hop ate him up.
Infield is in. 1-1 pitch to Presley is a strike. It's 1-2. 98 miles an hour with the fastball.
And this is such a tough ballpark because as a center fielder, you got to play so deep. In smaller ballparks, as soon as you see that catcher pop out like that, you can just come sprinting in and sometimes stop that runner from advancing to third, but not in this ballpark. That doesn't usually happen. .98 miles an hour off of Presley's thumbs. That ball got in there really deep. That's up. Did I get in a little bit? No, you just late, man. That's all. It's there. You just real tardy.
This is away. It's 2-2 at 99. And he went. Jose gets the strikeout.
I like the sequencing I'm seeing tonight a lot better from Jose. I like his attack that tonight, more aggressive with the fastball early, then finishing it off with the soft stuff that's so nasty after you got those guys geared up to try to hit 97 to 99. Much better mental approach to attacking these batters tonight.
Here is Ryan Braun, who hit one to the base of the wall in right center with 2 runners on, and it looked like everyone in the park like it was going out. Even the way Stanton went after the ball in right, it seemed like it was beyond the wall.
With LaCroix out of the lineup, now is where I say, if you want to be careful, be careful. You got a big swing and miss guy in Carter on the on-deck circle, even though he hit the ball hard last time. But this is the one guy who you don't want to beat you when he's the only bat in that lineup that's got that history of being that impact type player.
Sort of Joe Madden versus Bryce Harper is what you're saying.
Absolutely. That's the mentality. If he's going to beat me, he's going to beat me chasing at something out of the strike zone. He's not going to be the guy to beat me tonight if I'm Jose Fernandez.
Jose's abuela here tonight. He's 1-2 on Braun, who's hit in 8 straight. That one fouled at the plate.
Long look there. If you notice, Jose didn't shake. He just stared. And some guys don't want to shake.
Ground ball. Prado has it. Straightens up. Throws him out. Jose escapes again. Marlins up 1-0. Something has happened that you just don't expect to see happen. A guy hits a ball out of a ballpark and gets a single out of it. How did that happen? Well, JT Realmuto was busy watching his blast to left field get out, and as he rounded first, he was surprised to see Marcell Ozuna streaming back to first to tag up, and before Realmuto realized that, he had crossed the line and made a turn and passed Ozuna in the base pass. And so by rule, Realmuto is out. Ozuna scores. It's a single and an RBI for Realmuto. And Dietrich takes in a fastball. It's 1-1. Derek Dietrich in leadoff spot. He leads it off here in the third. Martin Prado and Christian Yelich. I was happy to hear that my memory served that it was in a Harvey Haddock's game, that near perfect game, 12 innings of perfect game that he lost against the Braves. The same thing happened. Adcock passed Aaron. After Adcock hit it out of the ballpark, all he got was a double.
Rich, don't sell yourself short. You are a font of baseball knowledge. We have conversations that you recall things, and I'm like, my goodness, I came up watching baseball.
Dietrich shoots one into left field for a hit.
And your recall on some of these games and some of these just pieces of minutia that happen throughout history is pretty much incredible. I got to tell you.
Well, your tone is a lot different than my wife's. Who is not all that enamored with that skill. Dietrich with a base hit to left. And here's Martin Prado. Prado and then Yelich. And then Stanton as the inning is opened with a hit by Dietrich. Now, this is kind of the way it went for Willie Peralta against the Marlins in Milwaukee. 13 hits, a career high for Peralta. 13 hits. And yet he lasted 5 2/3. He didn't strike anybody out, and he won the game. He got 14 runs of support, but he won 14-5.
You know, sometimes you just got to stay out there longer than the other guy.
We were talking about Martin Prado finding a home in center field and staying inside the ball. Preston, if you were scouting him and you saw this, what would it tell you?
It would tell me that we have to play him straight up, and that he is one of those guys that he just hits to the situation. You can't cheat on him. You can't pull shifts on him. You got to play him honest. And he's good. That's what it also tells you. For him to be able to have that frequency of hits in all of those areas, he's good.
You got Dietrich at first. Prado's ball to center that skipped by Nieuwenhuis actually went for a double. Liner, this one to second, and out at first is Dietrich. Rivera gets Dietrich, and there are 2 outs.
Tough play. This ball's hit right on the nose. Dietrich does take a little false step right there, gets hung up, but that's a normal reaction. That's just a hard hit ball right at the guy. Get your double play. Can't beat up Dietrich too badly on that one. That wasn't that bad of a play. Those things happen.
And here is Yelich. He takes outside. Christian Yelich has bounced out. He is 0 for 1. He's hitting 6 straight. All right, let's scout Willie Peralta. It's brought to you by Auto Nation.
Defeated the Fish back on May 1st, 14-5. He's got his birthday present yesterday. His daughter Ciara was born this weekend. Reluctant mom. His mom had learned to love baseball. She didn't really, come to it, but she learned to come around to the game and enjoy what her son does as a professional.
Well, I'm sure she does now. Counts 3-0 to Yelich, and you would think Willie Peralta doesn't want to walk Yelich to get to Stanton, although Stanton has struggled against Peralta in his career. And you know what? That's exactly what happens. So
some guys you just don't pick up well, Rich. And it doesn't matter how good you're going, how poorly you're going. When you run into certain guys, you don't see the ball out of their hand well. Maybe it's the rhythm that they pitch with doesn't match the rhythm of your setup. There's some guys, I had problems with guys, and it just happens. And there's some guys that no matter how poorly you're swinging the bat, when you run into them, they just match up with your rhythm and your swing, and you hit them.
And sometimes it doesn't matter how accomplished that pitcher is. Peralta's ERA is in the mid-7s. Yet Stanton is 1 for 13 with 5 strikeouts against him. And a slider misses out. It's 1-0.
Good. That pitch didn't miss by much. And also, it could be a guy that he makes pitches against you. You know, you could be that guy, like you have the guy when the team get 14 hits and you don't get one. You could be that guy that this guy just makes pitches to.
It's down low. Peralta is falling behind 2-0. Let's take a look. I mean, if you're Peralta, you want those pitches. That's right at the knees.
You got to gripe that both of those pitches could be strikes, but you also see how borderline they are, and you understand how the umpire could call them balls.
No, maybe you understand. I don't know if Peralta understands.
Nah, he don't understand. He ain't even trying to hit that right now.
He wants those strikes. Here's the 2-0. See if he has to come up. Ooh, that a fastball for a strike.
But when you talk about a guy just making, look at where these pitches are. All of these pitches are right on the very edge of the strike zone, or just off.
Perfect. I mean, those are perfect pitches.
And that's how you have a guy that you just can't hit when that happens.
Oh, he had a good one to hit there. He bounces it to short. VR goes on to first in time. And the Marlins are done. 1-0 Fish. Marlins lead, top 4. That despite a 2-run, well, it's not a 2-run homer, is it, Craig Minervini?
No, it's not. And I will tell you this: there's a lot of experience up here with official scorer Ron Jernick and umpiring supervisor Steve Ripley, longtime Major League ump. They're scouring about 4 or 5 of these rule books. Some of them have particular notes on plays, trying to figure out how to score what happened. It is historic. One thing we can tell you, the rule in question here is 7.08H, which is a clear one. It's one that Preston referred to. A runner is out if he precedes a preceding runner before such runner is out. So that clearly says Realmuto is the man out here. The question is, how do you score it? Assuming he's not going to get a home run, he will get an RBI, I would assume. But Ron Jernick, to my left here, is looking through the book. He's talking to Elias, trying to figure out how to score it. And when they figure that out, we'll get it back to you.
Well, I'm going back to 1959. I'm going back to the Harvey Haddix game when Adcock passed Aaron past second base. Instead of the home run, he got a double. So I'm going RBI single. I'd put my money on RBI single for Real Muto. You want to wager, Press?
I think you might be right. It may be an RBI single. You know, I go back to the whole Robin Ventura grand slam single in New York when Todd Pratt didn't run the bases.
That's
he
right.
Went back to congratulate him, and instead of Ventura getting a grand slam, he ended up getting a single. So I think you may be spot on with that, Rich.
Kirk Neuenhuis. And Jose misses down low. It's 3-0. Jose in this ball game, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. And a letter high strike to the Brewers center fielder. He walked back in the second.
He has been absolutely throwing the ball by Neuenhuis all night. He's getting him sped up. He struck him out on his slider last time after he beat him with the 97 and 99. Oh, he walked last time. Oh, I was thinking about the other batter. That's who it is. Colin Walsh. And he walks him again.
Yep. So Neuenhuis walks for the second time. And we stop back in with our official spokesperson, Derek Dietrich.
Tomorrow night, catch myself and your Marlins as we take on the Brewers at 7:10. With the new Steals and Deals offer, you can get discounted tickets. Go to marlins.com today.
Nicely done, Derek Dietrich. Here is Colin Walsh, who struck out in the second. 1 out. But we just saw a Phillies team that had a couple of Rule 5 guys. Tyler Goodell, whose RBI double was a game winner last night, and Odubel Herrera. Herrera, a Rule 5 pick in 15, and Goodell in 16. That's what Walsh is for Milwaukee. They're hopeful that the year he had in Double-A with Oakland last year indicates he can be a successful big league player. Takes outside in Double-A. He hit .302, 39 doubles, and this was in 134 games. And he walked, Preston, 124 times. Wow. Runner goes. Jose steps off. Neuenhuis thought he had him red. The tag out of the baseline. And the out is recorded.
Remember earlier in the game when I told you Neuenhuis had like that 2-step jump off of Jose before he even flinched? He thought he had something. He must have been seeing something. They must have picked it up from him. And look at that. He was already gone. He was already 3 steps into it when Jose stepped off. He thought he had something. They read him, and they said, we're not going to let you do it to us again. Nice job by the Marlins picking that up.
And so Jose now, the count 1-2. Looks like he tagged him as well, but he called him out of the baseline. He got 3 feet from the base path you established. Down he goes. Fernandez strikes out Walsh. Jose, 6 strikeouts and a 1-0 lead. Florida is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica. By Checkers, fast foodies know the deal. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. In Miami tonight, a 1-0 Marlins lead. And if you're just joining us, you missed one of the more bizarre plays that you'll see in a baseball game at any level. Major leagues, little leagues. Justin Bour, Marcell Ozuna, and JT Realmuto. And there's a strike. Bour bounced out in the second, and that's when the fun began. Marcell Ozuna then singled for the second hit of the night for the Fish against Willie Peralta. And Bour foul tip into the glove of Maldonado. And with Ozuna at first base, JT Realmuto hit a ball out, and in a deep part of the park too. More center than left, right into the sculpture. That is a foul ball. And a great example of Bour trying to hit the other way. Shift is, there's nobody in this general vicinity. And you could see Bour decidedly trying to shoot that ball down the line. And still no one is within 70, 75 feet of the third base line. The breaking ball misses in. And so at that point, you thought the Marlins had a 2-0 lead. Realmuto, as he was hustling down to first, had a pretty good idea it was going out, but you know, you always want to watch and make sure.
You know, and I think the part that may have people confused about Ozuna's role in this is if the ball was 50 feet out of the ballpark, that's one thing. But the ball landed right in the water part of the home run sculpture out there, which may be like 10 feet over the fence. So it's not like it's this ball that it's 50 feet over the fence and he should have automatically known. And especially you got to take into account his angle from first base as well.
So at the time, we've got Realmuto approaching first and Ozuna starting back towards first. Here's the 2-2. Pitch is outside.
And the ballpark plays a part in it as well. If it's a smaller ballpark, Ozuna's not going to even think about tagging at first to go to second. But when you have the center fielder going away from the play, trying to make a play, I understand why he went to possibly tag up.
That's a shot into center field, and that's a hit. All right, we've described everything leading up to that play. Now here's the play as it happened. There's the blast, and it gets up, it gets out. Realmuto's watching. Ozuna's back. JT tagged the bag, made the turn, and crossed the path of Ozuna. And you can see the Brewers bench was on it. Craig Counsell appealed for a review. They got the review. Realmuto says, wait a minute, I hit the ball 400 and how many feet and I didn't get a home run?
Yep.
Bour's at first. The scoring on that play, from what we can determine at this point, and that's still being researched as Craig documented, is an RBI single, because that's as far as Realmuto got. Ozuna was allowed to score, but Realmuto was out. Had there been 2 outs when that ball was hit, no runs would have scored. Wow. How about that? Ozuna fouls it out of play. So there you have it. I'm sure a lot will be written and said about that play, not only on Marlins Live and in the Herald, the Sun Sentinel, and the Palm Beach Post, but also on MLB Tonight and a variety of networks.
Plays like that make our job better. but it does not make our job easier, because it's a lot of fun to talk about it, but it is a head scratcher to try to figure out all those moving pieces, the obscure rules, and all the information you have to sift through to get the final answer for what is the official ruling.
Boers at first. Ozuna sitting on a 1-2 pitch. Well, look, the bottom line is this. The Marlins have 6 hits against Willie Peralta. They hit a ball out of the park and got just 1 run. And they're only up 1-0 against a team that's very good at scratching out runs late and has a very effective bullpen, or at least lately they've been effective.
Well, you don't want to get to the back end of the Brewers bullpen. That's where they're best. So you want to put up some more runs, keep them out of close games so they can't scratch back.
2-2. That's a foul tip off of Maldonado.
Can't keep just scattering these base hits. Got to put something together.
South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready for tomorrow night on a Marlins Live at 6:30. Twitter Tuesday. Remember the last time Adam Conley faced the Brewers? He had that no-hitter going into the 8th and left with a couple of outs in the 8th with the no-hitter intact. And Ozuna takes a strike 3 call.
Let's see if he's got a gripe here. That ball may be just a hair and off the plate. Ozuna definitely felt like he saw it in. Maldonado picks it up and holds it back there for the umpire, which I don't really think should do anything, because it should be where the ball crosses the plate, not where after the catcher catches it and decides to pose with it. But, you know, some people kind of like that kind of thing. But it is a close pitch.
So here's Real Muto up for the 2nd time. He continues to absolutely scorch the baseball after a 400. Did we get, now here's the other question on that, since it's not a home run, do we get a distance from StatCast or Hit Tracker online?
For the longest single of the season.
I'll have to pull that up on the StatCast feed. It's 409-foot single.
Ooh. Might have that ball maybe down right there. I think Real Muto's got a gripe.
It's a strike.
Oh, it is right at the bottom.
And remember the pitches to Stanton that were in that same vicinity that were not called. But I mean, you just illustrated it. The strike zone starts at the front of the plate. And that's where Fox Tracks records those baseballs. And a pitch can be caught below the knees by the catcher, but if it crosses at the knees at the front of the plate. 1-1. Bouncer. Rivera, VR in time.
Wow, that's one of the best turns you're going to see, Rich.
Yep, this is a talented defensive team up the middle, and still it's 1-0. Marlins on top. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Rich Waltz, Preston Wilson, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine will join for Marlins Live postgame in an odd game with an odd feel to it. You almost feel like Miami should have 3 or 4 runs, and yet they have just one. Martin Maldonado is up. Yadiel Rivera, Willie Peralta. I'm sure Don Mattingly feels the same. Jose Fernandez, Preston, has walked 3, but he seems, after that first inning, to really settle into this ballgame. Liner to center, and Ozuna has to play it on a hop. For Martin Maldonado, just his 2nd hit of the year. And we check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, Rich, you mentioned the 19-1 record for Jose Fernandez at home. How about the Marlins team record? He's had 29 starts overall. It's one of the best, as you might imagine, in baseball history. Only one man has eclipsed that since 1920, and that is a guy named Lon Warneke for the Cubs, whose Cubs went 26-3 in his first 29 home games. Warneke had an amazing baseball career. He pitched for 15 years. He won 192 games, ERA just over 3. He pitched in an All-Star game. He pitched in a World Series. And Lon Warneke also did something nobody's ever done, and that is he not only played but umpired in an All-Star game and a World Series game. He umpired in the 52 All-Star game and the 54 World Series, and he participated in 3 All-Star games, including the 1933 first one ever. So that's an interesting fact about Lon Warneke. And here he is.
You know, Craig, that's, I mean, trying to think is of any modern players that have played and then umpired, or the last player to have played in the major leagues and then come back as a major league umpire.
You know, you see it in the National Hockey League a little more with guys who have played, Paul Stewart recently, and then become officials, but you don't see it very often. And you're right, I can't think of off the top of my head. I didn't even know this about Lon Warneke until looking about him. But he had quite a career. He was also a county judge. He was called the Arkansas Hummingbird.
I like that.
Wow.
I guess he threw the ball pretty hard. Would you guess?
I would think so. Here's Willie Peralta. Real Muto out there to first, out there.
Well done. Back-to-back innings. Ended on nice return double plays. Good baseball right there.
Nifty double play. Started by JT Real Muto. Turned by Adeiny Echeverria. Even the Arkansas Hummingbird would like that one. Miami on top, bottom 5 halfway through on a busy night in Miami. And tomorrow night, have your phones, your tablets, your laptops. Not many people still have home computers, but if you do, you can fire those up as well. Twitter Tuesday, emails and tweets. You can tweet questions at Fox Marlins on Twitter, and it's driven by South Florida Ford dealers. Just a couple news and note tidbits that are floating around in Major League Baseball tonight. Bad news for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Andrelton Simmons, the former Brave, is in need of thumb surgery, and he's going to miss at least 2 months. He rolled on his thumb trying to get a ground ball in yesterday's game. And just in peeking at MLB Network, John Heyman, our good friend, reporting Steven Strasburg has signed a 7-year contract extension for $175 million. It's not been confirmed by the Nationals, but it's out there, so we figured we'd bring it to you. Here's Echeverria, and he takes a breaking ball from Peralta.
I tell you, that Anaheim team can't get a break. They just got news that their #1 pitcher, Clayton Richards, has had Tommy John surgery. The other issues they've had in their pitching staff. Andrelton Simmons now is the latest guy to go down.
Yeah, Andrew Heaney, former Marlins, on the DL. I think C.J. Wilson is also out with a shoulder issue. Tyler Skaggs, Houston Street.
It has been one after another, and you got to be wondering, is it going to stop over in Anaheim?
Well, the Marlins, if you're keeping score in this game, you look down at some of these innings and you scratch your head and you say, well, how have the Marlins not had more runs? They've had multiple base runners. They've had a runner in every inning. They had a 1-out double in the first, didn't score. They had the Realmuto ball hit out and got just 1 run out of that, and had 3 hits in that inning. A hit and a walk in the 3rd, but no run. A leadoff hit in the 4th, but no run. 3-2 chops slowly, and tough play. VR not in time. Echeverria beats it. Both teams will check the video, but the Brewers are a little more interested than the Marlins.
Nice attempt here by VR. He's got a strong arm. I'll tell you, that ball got over there pretty well, but Echeverria got out of the box on that swinging chopper. Got himself a base hit, like those hustle knocks.
Well, that sets up nicely, Preston, because Fernandez, who bounced into a double play his last time, and tried to bunt Echeverria to second, and you've got Dietrich and Prado to try to drive him in. Jose squares and takes down low. Well, as you pointed out, we talked about the matchup of these two teams coming into this game. The Marlins offense has been very, very good. The Brewers pitching has not been.
And you have to score runs.
That's a foul ball.
When you face a team that struggles pitching, especially when you're getting runners on base. It's not like you're just having one of those off nights where you can't get anything going. The Marlins have been able to get something going. They just haven't been able to sustain these innings and put more than 1 or 2 good at bat together consecutively.
Craig Counsell's Brewers, though, are playing pretty well. They've won 5 of 8. They split a 4-game series with the Reds, winning the last 2. And then they took 2 of 3 against the Angels. All of that happened between the last time these two teams met and this game. Jose fouls that one off, and it's 1-2 now.
And as far as fielding percentage, the Brewers have made 23 errors on the season. St. Louis Cardinals lead with 26. The Marlins are below them at 27, so the Marlins are a better defensive club.
Foul back to the screen, and Jose is out, and the Marlins failed to advance the runner. Geico brings you this Major League moment, 1984. Harold Baines, it's a walk-off homer in the 25th inning. 25 innings. One of the catchers in that game. There he is. The television analyst, Bill Schroeder. He shared catching duties with Jim Sundberg. So that was a 25-inning game, and you ask how long was it? Bottom there, 8 hours and 6 minutes. But they had to play it over 2 days. It was suspended in the 18th, completed the next day, and it was at Comiskey Park. Carlton Fisk caught all 25 innings for the White Sox.
Of course he did.
Robin Yount was 3 for 10. That was a Don Sutton start for Milwaukee. And the blown save went to Raleigh Fingers. And getting the win in relief, Tom Seaver.
Wow.
And Seaver also started the regularly scheduled game, which was played right after the conclusion of that one.
I can see that. That makes total sense.
Have your starter start the resumption of that game and just let him keep pitching. Echeverria dusts himself off.
Harold Baines with the walk-off home. Was there a smoother, more fun guy to watch when he was hitting with that big leg kick, dropped the hands, stood way off the dish, and could just absolutely rake?
Dietrich ready. Takes a strike. It's funny now that this play has happened. My memory, I immediately thought of that Haddix game because I remember Aaron was involved in it in that. But other instances are trickling out. We had on Twitter someone reference a Tim McCarver game in which McCarver hit a ball out and then something went awry on the bases. You brought up the Robin Ventura game winner in which Todd Pratt didn't go to second and jumped up and down, and it ended up being a single. Apparently in 2006, Javi Lopez of the Orioles hit a homer to left center, a would-be homer. And Miguel Tejada thought the ball was caught, headed back towards first, and Lopez ran by him. So little by little, some of those plays are coming out of the woodworks. Maldonado mound visit with Peralta. Marlins unable to get the bunt down. Jose still talking about that. I think for the Marlins, maybe the lesson in yesterday and Saturday, even though you have the lead, things are going your way, you need to continue to do little things, continue to add on, or else someone can catch you late like the Phillies did the last 2 ball games. Straight up in front of the plate. That's a foul ball, just foul. The wind pushed it back. Derek Dietrich fouls out there. Let's see if he does better on this promo.
It's Kids Eat Free Wednesday on May 11th as we face the Brew Crew at 7:10. Every child 12 and under will get a free cayenne beef hot dog, a bag of Frito-Lay's chips, and a small Pepsi or Aquafina water. Details at marlins.com.
I think Dietrich would rather have a hit than a cayenne beef hot dog.
Yes.
Now Prado is doubled and lined into a double play.
there's some things that happen in the game, and I think back to minor leagues and just some of the silly things that are said in the dugout. When Dietrich popped up the ball and it comes down to the catcher, when you're in the minor leagues back, you know, when I was in minor leagues, someone would go, "That's a home run in a silo." And you're like, what does that even mean? You know?
Prado in the right center. It's in the gap. Echeverria around second. Cutting it off is Presley. And holding third. Nice job by Presley. Prado with a single. If Presley doesn't cut it where he cut it, the Marlins have another run. And Prado has another hit. My goodness. And he hit it right on the nose.
That's some type of swing right there. It's nice and smooth. Strokes it in the right center gap. You want to throw it out there, fine. I'll hit it out there. Echeverria motors around the third. Right there, eyes on Lenny Harris. That's textbook. What you're supposed to do, you get to second base, you pick him up. His job is to stop you, though. As a base runner, you should never stop yourself. It's the coach's job to stop you. You're just seeing what the sign is.
Now Yelich, who's bounced out and walked at the corners, and yet again, here's an opportunity for Miami. Yelich takes up. Yelich has bounced back to the mound and walked. Christian has been in that top 10 as far as hitting and on base. Yelich 5th in the National League in hitting coming in, and 3rd in on base. Hits that one fouling out of play. Dexter Fowler continues to set the pace as far as on base percentage. Brandon Belt 2nd, Yelich, and then Odubel Herrera and Daniel Murphy. Of course, Martin Prado, not only the top hitter in the National League, but in all of baseball, and he's 2 for 3 tonight, so he's well over 400 now. Here comes a 1-1, and it's into Yelich. 404 to be exact is Martin Prado. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Tough pitch, right on the edge. He's not messing around in the middle of the plate too much. He's been making some good pitches tonight. Marlins have had some good swings here and there, but he's done a good bit of his work on the outer fringes of the strike zone.
So hard in and then soft away was the last pattern. Let's see if hard in equals soft away on this pitch. And remember what Yelich did with the changeup earlier in this homestand.
Well, you got to wonder if he feels so confident facing Giancarlo Stanton right now that he might not see if he can get Yelich to chase something. And if he loses him, he loses him. But he'll, you know, take his chances with G, which is something that's amazing to say.
Yelich left field, hit pretty well. Braun is back on the track, makes the catch.
But he went with a breaking ball, something that you wouldn't usually see in that situation.
Yeah, backdoor breaking ball. And the Marlins lead it, but it's still 1-0. T-Mobile gives you greater coverage of baseball. Manny Machado, South Florida guy, leading Baltimore past Oakland yesterday. Couple homers, 6 driven in. Bryce Harper, 7 times without a hit. He reached base, 6 walks, 3 intentional. Hit by a pitch in that extra inning loss at Wrigley Field. David Ortiz is Big Papi. Yes, he is. 2 more homers, 454 in his career. Here, 1-0 Miami. Jose Fernandez. And this is a very pleasant sight for the Marlins and for Fernandez. Pitching into the 6th inning with a pitch count in the low 70s.
This is an absolute advance as far as what they want him to get mentally, as far as his approach, as far as understanding his stuff. He should not be a guy that's who he was earlier in the season, going 5 innings, having 100 pitches, 4 1/3, 90+ pitches. That should not be him. His stuff is too good. His fastball is too good to mess around with a lot of these hitters and allow them to work these deep counts the way that he did early. This is what they need to see.
Strike. This is the guy that has the best swings against Jose today. Jonathan VR doubled in the first, singled, and swiped the bag in the 3rd.
I would love to see the fastball percentage thrown in this game as opposed to some of his other starts.
That is 95, and he threw it by him.
Now I realize this Brewers lineup may not be as stout of a lineup as some of the other lineups he's faced, but still, he's not the only one that needs to do this or that does this. Samardzija last night or yesterday in the game for San Francisco was losing 2-0 in the 8th inning, but he was still out there because his pitch count was low enough to have him out there on the mound and give his team a chance to be in that game. Power pitchers can still have relatively low pitch counts if they use their fastball enough.
Alex Presley, who has walked and struck out, up here. Jose Fernandez now 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, 3 hits. He's not giving up a run. Change up at 88. Backdoor breaking ball. 9 strikeouts for Jose.
And you see, once you look at the effect that this pitch has on Presley, it absolutely ties him up in a knot. This ball breaks so hard, so tight, that he starts on it, sees it as a fastball, and just cannot do anything with it. But that pitch is set up by him throwing so many fastballs early and not showing guys his breaking ball early. And now, when they get in that 2nd, 3rd at bat and they haven't seen it, it's nasty.
Braun swings and misses.
As opposed to seeing it in your 1st at bat, and now you know what it looks like coming out of his hands. You know what that spin looks like. You know what the release point looks like, and you're able to pinpoint it a little bit better. But now when you haven't seen it, got himself an out quickly right there.
84 pitches in, and he's out in front of Ryan Braun, 0-2. Braun is 0 for 2. He's flied out and bounced out. Now, Jose is humming right now, and if he can get Braun, that should earn him the 7th inning. Braun hits it center field, hits it well. Back goes Ozuna. Tracked it. Picks it up, and Braun ends up at 2nd. Jose stares in disbelief.
I think that's one that Ozuna kind of took for granted a little bit. He made a great break back on a ball that was hit hard, but I think he relaxed just a little bit at the end. Did not quite look it in or stay in quite the position that he's supposed to. Yeah, he just missed it. Didn't quite look it in. Didn't stay with it long enough. And Mom is disappointed. That's a play Ozuna's got to come up with. And I'm not saying it was an easy play, but that's a play that's got to be made. They ruled it a hit, I believe. But being a former center fielder, if I don't make that play, I feel like I deserve an error.
Here is Carter. You wonder if that play at first base is weighing on Ozuna's mind.
And if it is, it should. He's got to be able to separate offense from defense. When you put on that glove, you're a different guy. That's the mentality you have to have as a baseball player.
0-1. Carter swings and misses. Jose trying to get out of this inning quickly here, because you know he'd love to stick around for the 7th. Now there's fooled and there's really fooled.
That's not really close. He was swinging, hoping that Jose hit his bat right there. That's not really having much of an idea about what's going on.
0-2. And Jose figures, well, if he went after the last one, let's bounce another one.
Can't blame him.
Calling 2 strikes. So 9 strikeouts, 3 walks.
I see a good high fastball right here, and Jose gets to walk it back to the dugout. See what he goes with. With the slider.
Last 3 pitches have all been in the other side batter's box.
Just when you swing at one like that, you're just going to keep trying to do it.
Count 2-2. Braun's at second. Carter can hit it a long ways, and he drives this one to left center. It's deep. Ozuna has room though, and he makes the catch. Jose Fernandez with 6 shutout innings, and the Marlins head to the bottom of the 6th in Miami, holding tight to a 1-0 lead. Love to see. Remember, Ozuna dropped the ball, and Jose Fernandez. That is something you love to see.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to realize that ball was also hit, 385, 390 feet. So it wasn't an easy play. I'm not saying it was an easy play, but it was definitely a play that should have been converted, especially after the great jump he got on the ball. But it's great to see teammates coming together like that and realize that, hey, we're going to pick each other up from time to time.
Stanton takes outside. The count's 1 ball and 1 strike. So it's 1-0. Bottom 6. Miami's had plenty of opportunities. Giancarlo Stanton, Justin Bour, Marcell Ozuna, Willie Peralta has been Stanton's kryptonite so far. And that fastball misses in. And not just tonight, but historically, Stanton now 1 for 14 against him in his career. 5 strikeouts. Just missed that one.
He almost left the building just now. That was a little slider that just hung out there. Stanton looked like he was right on it, just fouled it off. That's a confidence building swing for a batter where you've been having a tough time seeing a guy and you get off a good swing like that and you feel like you just missed it. It pumps you up a little bit.
Big shift, 3 infielders left side. And he got him. Fastball came in and struck him out.
And that deflates you. He's just making good pitches with his fastball on him. We've seen the chart tonight where he's right on the edges. That pitch is no different. That's a 2-seamer that just barrels in under the bat. Stanton can't get to it. Velocity, movement, and location for a pitcher equals an out for the batter.
Justin Bour hit a ball extremely hard his last time up. A line drive single to center, right over the rover. And that's how I describe VR, who's right in the middle of the field. A softball term, that 4th outfielder that sometimes appears.
Well, now this is a true shift when the second baseman is on the shortstop or that third fielder is on the right field side of the field. That's a true shift. And I say that, Rich, because I actually had to learn the definition, because I know all these teams do these exaggerated movements around the infield, and I had to get the definition of what's an official switch. Shift. And that's when 3 people are on that one side of the infield.
4 walks. All right. Derek Dietrich's been keeping us company all night long.
Wednesday is the next Chevron Crazy 8s Wednesday. Fill up your car with Chevron with Techron gas and bring your receipt to Marlins Park ticket office to choose between 2 Lexus Legends level tickets or 1 home plate box ticket for just $28.
I like it. He's upbeat. He's got that snappy music behind him.
If he's doing any more, I don't know if he's got any left. But people at home, pay attention to how much he's getting into these. Look at his head movement when he's talking about it. His shoulders are moving, his head's all into it. He is all in, selling out to do these promos for us tonight.
And I'll tell you a good reason why after this pitch. Here's Ozuna. He certainly would love to do something big here. Up the middle, off of Peralta's glove. Ozuna is going to beat it. And that's a hit. And the Marlins are set up 1st and 2nd, 1 out.
Oh, that's nice to get. Had a little controversy on the bases. You don't quite play the ball right in center field, and you get yourself a base hit. This almost came close to being real disappointment. Look at Peralta with the backhand swipe, almost gloves it. Just goes off the tip of his glove. That can ruin your night.
Well, if he doesn't touch it, it's possible the Brewers get a double play because Rivera was swung towards the bag, the second baseman for Milwaukee. As it is, it's a hit. And here's Real Muto. RBI single in the 2nd. Slow tapper to short, might be 2. Bobbled there and kicked, and everybody is safe. Jonathan VR, Willie Peralta trying to pick him up.
Another example of, hey, I'm gonna make him hit the next one to you. This ball, I don't think he quite looked in it, maybe in a little bit of a rush to turn that double play. Didn't quite get where he needed to. See Justin Bour hopping over it, kind of screens him a little bit. And when it happens like that, the shortstop doesn't quite pick the right hop. Either he's a half a step too close or a half a step too far back, and it gets that in-between hop instead of the short or the long hop to be able to turn that double play.
seen
And a lot of times that happens. Sorry, Rich. A lot of times that happens when the base runner does screen you, and you don't quite get to judge where that hop is that you need to set your feet on.
That's a great point. You saw VR. All he could do is listen, and once the mound visit was over, just had his pitcher on the back. Hope he does get another ground ball for the Marlins now. Yet again, here's a chance to add to a 1-0 lead. Bags are loaded. Echeverria is 2 for 2.
Well, there's a reason that guy's playing shortstop. He's usually your most sure-handed fielder. So even if a pitcher gives up one like that, he wants the next one hit right back to that same guy.
Echeverria takes a strike. Now Jose Fernandez is on deck, but if Echeverria were to reach or make an out here, you would expect a pinch hitter. Well, it's a perfect pitch.
I would. Maybe if there's like a bases clearing double right here with Jose sitting on 91 pitches, that might buy him the at-bat and the start to the next inning. But other than that, I think you may be right, Rich.
Duly noted, and I think you're right. But right now, Peralta's out in front of Echeverria, 0-2, and he steps off. Just a weird night here in Miami with the ball that Real Muto hit out. He and Ozuna crossed at first. Miami got just 1 run. Ichiro is locked and loaded if they need him. Pitch in the dirt. Aside from losing that run, Miami has had ample opportunities in every inning against Willie Peralta. But still, that 1 run that sits up there was from that play in which Ozuna was allowed to score, and Real Muto went from a 2-run homer to an RBI single, and he was out.
This game reminds me of some of the games in A.J. Burnett's career when he was younger. Wild in the strike zone, we'd get strikeouts, get outs, but always have traffic. Something going on every inning.
Peralta, who has good run on that fastball, ran that one in. And it's 2-2. A walk, an infield hit, and an error on Jonathan VR. And Willie Peralta, 94th pitch, 2-2. Almost got him. Almost sounded like it hit something.
Peralta's fastball has that late hard movement. That ball almost clipped Echeverria. Didn't quite get it, but it moved in hard late. Watch this thing. That's an absolute right turn right at the end of that.
Looked like it cut him in 2, but it missed him. And so now from 0-2 to 3-2. Boers at third, Ozuna at second, Real Muto at first. Middle infield is back for 2. Although whoever tries to turn it, if there is a ground ball, Real Muto's got speed and a sizable lead at first. 3-2. Good battle here.
Oh, this is when it's fun. The pitcher's got to make a pitch. The batter's got to make sure the ball's in the strike zone. The base runners have to be aware to not run yourself out of an inning right here in case of a line drive. Everybody has to be on their toes in this situation.
One out, bags loaded. 3-2 again. Echeverria in the left field. It falls for a hit. Braun has it. 1 run scores. Now do you pinch hit for Jose? As Echeverria comes through, and it's 2-0. Well, Fernandez wasn't going to wait. He's in the box already.
Yeah, you're going to have to go. You know him. You're going to have to go drag him out of the batter's box.
He's going to let him hit, so that means Fernandez is going to get the 7th, something he's desperately wanted to get to. He's earned it with an economical performance tonight, 91 pitches in his 6 innings. Jose bounces it to short. There's 1 and there's 2, and that's the flip side of him hitting. However, it earns him Another half inning on the mound. Miami gets a run and leads it 2-0. A Jose Fernandez start is always fun. And Fernandez had found himself in some trouble early, worked out of it, and has found his groove.
Oh, he's looked good, throwing a lot of really good fastballs early, challenging hitters, going deep in the count, keeping his pitch count down at only 91 pitches. I like what I'm seeing, and they rewarded him by letting him go back out there for the 7th.
Chrysler is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. How's the Clevelander? Always nice to have camera 12 around. 2-0. Marlins on top, 7th inning. So the deal that the Marlins made there was, Jose, you can hit and you get the 7th. He bounced into a double play, and so the lead is 2-0. Kirk Neuenhuis is up. Colin Walsh and Martin Maldonado. One thing of note to keep in mind, as this game grows closer to the 8th and the 9th, the Brewers kept 2 of their best bats on the bench, right-handed bats, against Jose. And so once Jose exits, don't be surprised if Aaron Hill, who had a 3-homer game this past week, or Jonathan Lucroy, who's having a nice year, get some pinch hitting action in the 8th or the 9th. There's a bouncer from Neuenhuis and an out for Jose in the 7th.
Nice job by Jose getting that ball down in his zone, getting Neuenhuis to roll over it. Neuenhuis has seen him well in the ball game previously until then with the 2 walks. Great job. Only spent 4 pitches on that at bat, Rich. That's important.
Now Colin Walsh. And a breaking ball misses up.
Unlike Neuenhuis, Colin Walsh has not seen the ball very well off of Jose Fernandez tonight. 2 strikeouts and has had some really poor swings.
That one just misses off the plate.
This is when you reach back for that fastball right here.
That's a power change at 89. It does the trick as well. 10 strikeouts for Jose. Rich Waltz along with Preston Wilson. Do you think for Don Mattingly and for Juan Nieves, leaving Jose into the 7th, letting him hit in that spot is somewhat of a reward, because they've been begging him to economize get yourself deeper in the game, and that's exactly what he's done here.
I think you're spot on with that. They want Jose to be on the field. He's the ace. He's the guy that needs to stretch out these innings. He's the guy that should save the bullpen. And when you're pitching deep into the game, you're being efficient with your pitches early in the game, and you do what the coaches ask you, your reward should be what you want, and that's to be on the field for your ball club late in the game.
You saw that wind come up. That's one of the things with the roof open and the rolling windows open. We get a pretty good amount of wind up here in the booth, and oftentimes we're not ready for it. That's why we've got cell phones sitting on stuff, papers flying everywhere.
Yeah, we'll lay an iPad on the papers because sometimes it'll just come flying back at us. We could be in mid-sentence. And
how did your phone do with the drink that just got dumped over there?
It's fine. I got a cover on it. I think I'm okay. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Yeah, I mean, all this stuff going on here, man, it's a mess.
That's why we spent $75 on a waterproof case.
Exactly.
Now Jose, the 2 outs, a 2-2 count. He's 104 pitches in. This is, as you pointed out, exactly what Miami has asked him to do. High fastball.
Extremely proud of the game that Jose Fernandez has pitched tonight. Aggressive, mixed it up, didn't show too much of his off-speed stuff early. Fought through some adversity, pitched himself out of a few jams. This is an effort that can hopefully springboard him throughout the rest of the year.
3-2. And a breaking ball's up. Yadiel Rivera coming up now. Rivera has struck out twice.
I do question the 3-2 breaking ball with 2 outs. And you already had 100 pitches. He threw the changeup to get the strikeout the last at bat with his changeup, and I thought he should have gone with the fastball. That's another instance. I say, look, this is when you leave it all out on line. You reach back for that one more fastball. You know you're not going to be in the game much longer anyway.
Bear Claw is up. You would think for one more hitter, and it's Rivera. He's 0 for 2. He's hitting 200 on the season. And that may have been the message from Juan Nieves. Jose, you got one more guy. Not many pitchers hug the pitching coach when they come out. And a breaking ball misses down low. And if this is his last hitter, you expect you want to go right after the guy hitting 200.
Well, I think that meeting was like, look, this is your last guy. Get after it and get him.
Slider for a strike, and as we expected, Jonathan Lucroy is on deck. If you didn't know, Jonathan Lucroy and Daniel Murphy look like they could be brothers.
Yes, they do.
Especially with the beard that Lucroy's got going on. 1-2.
I'll tell you what, they both can hit, that's for sure.
That's right. One from the left side, one from the right side. Rivera struck out twice. Him 11 for Fernandez, and he goes 7 innings. And in Miami tonight on a Jose night, He'll exit after 7 with a 2-0 lead. For the fish, and it's brought to you by JetBlue. Our nation's capital. Hey, it's 4 games with Dusty B. Baker and the Nats. And then on to Philly. Marlins would like some revenge for these last 2 losses to the Phillies. They'll get their chance. That was a fun series, a close series, all 3 games. So 4 in D.C., 3 in Philly. Here tonight, opener of a 3-game set against the Beer Makers, the Milwaukee Brewers. Michael Kirkman is out of Milwaukee's bullpen. Yeah, the Cheeseheads here. Derek Dietrich, fine job on the promos, and the reason he was so energetic and eager to do it is we guarantee 2 hits for anybody that reads the promos.
Well, we owe him 1 more.
He's 1 for 3. Dietrich down the right field line. See, automatic, isn't it? Love it. On his way to second, thinking 3, digging for 3, throw coming. It hits him. Here he comes. He will score. How about that?
That's knowing your ballpark. He gets him a pitch to hit, breaks it down into the corner. And when he gets to second base, there's no holding up because he knows that it's going to take a perfect throw from that relay man to get him there at third. Ends up getting the bullpen a nice big run in that 3rd run to add to that cushion to take the pressure off. I love it.
A triple and a throwing error. The error on Yadiel Rivera.
Throw was going to be offline anyway. Ends up hitting him, and he just lays out because that's a long run when you get to the last third of the ball game.
And of course, the slide is one of elation and exhaustion.
Yeah, that's just more of just trying to just fall and stop your momentum than an actual slide. He's just like, oh, okay, I can stop now. Somebody come get me.
Otto takes a strike. And so Dietrich, I told you, you're guaranteed 2 hits if you read the promos. So he's got a single and a triple. Prado's got 2 hits and he's lined out. Slider is up. Martín Prado crushed that ball 405 feet from home plate. He continues to swing a red-hot bat.
That's a great jump by the center fielder, reaching up over his head, ranging all the way back. Really nice play.
You know, this is not something that Prado just started this year. He had a really nice finish in August and September of last year.
Sometimes it just clicks. And I think he found something in his setup and his approach that he wasn't comfortable with, that he was able to fix. And now it's just, he's got his routine down. He knows how to diagnose whenever something goes wrong in his swing, and he can correct it quickly.
Our Toyota inside look. Since the All-Star break, Prado 331. That's brought to you by Toyota. The all-new RAV4.
What's interesting about that list is there was only one outfielder on that list. Everyone else was infield, infield, infield. Odubel Herrera was the only outfielder on that list.
.3-0 to Yelich from Kirkman. And Yelich walks for the second time tonight. Michael Kirkman was a Padre last week and was claimed off waivers on Thursday. Padres designated him for assignment last Monday. He's also pitched for Texas. And Stanton gets a rare at bat against a left-handed reliever. You don't see this much. He gets obviously left-handed starter at bats, but not that many against a lefty reliever. Yelich is chased back. Milwaukee's bullpen has been worked hard. Stanton takes a strike. It's a bullpen that has thrown 111 innings. Big shift for Stanton. Ball and a strike. Saw Phelps up.
Kirkman with the old classic lefty look to home, throw to first move.
Carlos Torres in the pen. He's been one of the better arms out of the pen for Milwaukee. Stanton pulls that one foul.
Milwaukee definitely has an attack with Stanton. When they go in, they try to go way in. You see the catcher, he sets up a little bit off the plate on the inside. They really work hard to try to get Stanton to expand the strike zone on that third base side of the plate to open it up for them to work with soft stuff away. It's been a conscious effort for them that I've been seeing.
That pop-up will find the seats.
The only danger in that is if you miss your spot and you don't have enough velocity to get in there, that pitch becomes a souvenir.
Marlins trying to snap a little two-game skid. Saturday and yesterday affair with the Phillies. Chance to get back to 3 games over at 17-14. They have a ways to go. Stanton takes away. The Mets, by the way, are out in Los Angeles tonight and open up a series against the Dodgers. Mets just finishing off a nice run in San Diego, where they won the last 2 games of that series. And Stan swings and misses.
Slider down, started down, finished down. See the slider rotation there. Stanton swings over it. Now Bohr gets his chance to face the lefty.
Justin Bohr's 1 for 2. And Kirkman goes over to first. The Nationals tonight home. The Tigers are there. Steven Strasburg is still pitching in that ball game in the 8th. It's 4-4 Tigers and Nationals. Strasburg reportedly has agreed to a 7-year contract extension for $175 million. Phillies are not in action. They open up a series in Atlanta tomorrow night. 0-2.
Oh, if you're Justin, that's one of those pitches you wish you were ready for, or maybe you wish you saw it a little better, because that's right where he likes it. Middle of the plate, just a tad up. We've seen him hit those balls a long, long way.
That's out. One-two coming. Yelich still at first. Bohr pulls it. Carter gets to it. He gets the out, and Miami is done in the 7th. Derek Dietrich's wild ride gives Miami a 3-0 lead. In Miami tonight, 3-0. Marlins on top. Jose Fernandez handled the first 7. Fernandez struck out 11. David Phelps arrives for the 8th. And Phelps yesterday hit his first real rough patch as a late inning arm out of Miami's bullpen as the Phillies rallied, erased a Marlins lead, and scored twice in the 8th to win it 6-5.
First time you didn't really see that good live movement on the fastball or the good location. He's still been absolutely great for this ball club this year. I like him working in 8.
Miguel Rojas at first base. So the Marlins in a double switch. Rojas at first. And a breaky ball misses down low to Ramon Flores, who hits here for Milwaukee. That's a good look, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
After, I'm sure, what was a great Mother's Day.
Like when they got the little new teeth coming in. There they are.
Smile. Smile for the camera. Pitch Penny bring you this pitch hit appearance from Ramon Flores. He fouls that pitch off. Flores out of Venezuela. Came over in a trade from Seattle. We'll count 3-2. Banged into center field. That's a base hit. And so the Brewers have a start. And now you get into VR, Presley, and Braun at the top of the order. Fresh in the mind of Don Mattingly, and really all the Marlins, is the 2 late inning meltdowns they've had in their last 2 games. Saturday, the Phils came roaring back, scored twice in the 8th, and erased a 3-2 Miami lead. We just talked about yesterday. The general feeling was it was a bump in the road and maybe a bit of bullpen fatigue from that long run of 11 wins in 12 games in which the Marlins had to close just about every game, and even in the games they didn't close, they needed the back of the bullpen to finish.
Every time I see that, it's just a reminder that when you come to the ball game, folks, you have to pay attention. It happens sometimes where it just comes off the bat so hard. There is absolutely no reaction time. Barely enough time just to lean or get out of the way. So put those devices down and pay attention, please.
Well said. 0-2 is in. And it's 1-2. You can see that for VR, he's still looking over into the seats. It appears as if everyone is okay. Sawed him off, and it's foul, and it's wide of third. Marlins hoping to get this game to A.J. Ramos in the 9th. Jose was terrific tonight. Bouncer out to second. Backhand by Dietrich. Turn by Etch. Just beat it at first. VR got down the line quickly. So Miami gets an out. Back of glove. And the foot already on the bag before the ball even got to the front of the glove.
It's a nice try. It was a long flip, that little backhanded flip from Dietrich to try to get across to second base. He tried to turn it, but Villar runs well.
Remember the Brewers, we've not seen either Hill or Lucroy. Well, we saw Lucroy. He was on deck when an inning ended, but those weapons still available to Craig Counsell. That off the end of the bat floats foul.
It's a nice snag by the fan right there.
Boy, that guy, he has multiple souvenirs.
Come on, press.
I mean, obviously that's the place to be. If you want to get a foul ball in this ballpark, you might better try to get that seat. And I don't think he's selling right now.
Foul ball. That was wide of Rojas. Tomorrow night, Adam Conley, Zach Davies. Conley 2-1, a 3.06 Ernie. Davies, a right-hander from Milwaukee, 0-3, and an earned run average just shy of 7. Chase Anderson, another right-hander with an ERA north of 6 against Wei-Yin Chen on Wednesday. Off day Thursday, and then that, well, it should be a fascinating 4 games in 3 days in DC starting Friday. That is foul back.
Rich, I'll be there with you.
All right.
Yeah.
8 miles high.
That's right. Calling some baseball with you in the capital city.
We're calling the game from the cloud. Here's the 0-2. Check swing. Did he go? He did. That's the 3rd time that Presley has been unable to check his swing tonight. Derek Dietrich for the final time.
Follow the Marlins all season long with MLB.com @BAT, the #1 app for live baseball. @BAT is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay, radio broadcasts, StatCasts, and more. Get MLB.com @BAT for your smartphone or tablet.
He's done quite well, and of course the fun part is next, the outtakes from Derek Dietrich. We'll have that shortly. Ryan Braun is up and he takes inside. Two and 0. That Nationals-Tigers game, last I checked, still in the 8th and still 4-4.
That's a good aggressive 2-0 fastball to a good fastball hitter. He wasn't able to handle it.
Remember, the homestand started with the Marlins sweeping the Diamondbacks. Well, Arizona's won 3 in a row going into their game tonight in Denver against the Rockies. 1-1. Arizona and Colorado bottom 3. Roller up the middle brings Etch near the bag. He's going to go to first in time to get the out. David Phelps bounces back, handles the 8th. 3-0 Miami. for Miami. 5 hits, no runs for the Brewers. We often recognize milestones in the game or anniversaries, and sad to realize that Tony Gwynn is no longer with us. He would have been 56. The numbers are still unbelievable. 338 average. Look at all the hits. 15 times an All-Star, 8 batting titles. He was a Gold Glover early in his career. Hall of Fame without question. And Preston, you had a chance to play against him, right?
Had a chance to play against him, and it was remarkable to see what he could do in that batter's box. I didn't see him when he still had the good, fresh, young legs. You know, you saw the 319 stolen bases there, but to see a hitter be able to react to any pitch or not really take many bad swings, it almost looked like he had the ability to slow down time in the batter's box.
Gwynn would go on to be the head coach at San Diego State, his alma mater. He played a big part in the transformation of Steven Strasburg. San Diego State has certainly baseball talent, but it's known lately for its basketball team, which has had a great run of postseason play that was snapped this year. They didn't get to the tournament. And if you're wondering why I'm mentioning the basketball team, the all-time leader in assists at San Diego State is Tony Gwynn.
He's an incredible athlete and just an incredibly kind, sweet man. Spent a lot of time talking to him, trying to get hints on, you know, how to be better as a hitter, trying to understand why he was as good as he was. It was a lot of fun, and I'm honored to say that I was able to share the same baseball field with Tony Gwynn.
His son, Tony Gwynn Jr., is on the Dodgers television team, does pre and post game work, some radio as well. Jose Fernandez, 7 innings in this one. Ozuna walks to open up this 8th. This all coming against Carlos Torres. And here is Real Muto. Real Muto on a night he would like to, but probably will never forget. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI, and in the box score tomorrow, if you just read the box score, you'll see it was a RBI single. But not many RBI singles go 409 feet and land in a home run sculpture. And on Marlins Live postgame, brought to you by Checkers, not only will you see it, but I'm sure Craig and Niner will discuss it. Jose, of course, a terrific start. It was a homer, and then it wasn't. One. Swing and a miss. Maldonado can throw, and Ozuna's back in.
I'll tell you someone else that we didn't mention in that whole equation who I believe that's going to make an impression on him as well, and that's Perry Hill, the first base coach. I think that's kind of going to light a beacon for him to say whenever there's a home run hit, that's one of those high towering ones like that. There may be a tag up. He's going to have to be more vocal too to maybe try to stop that from occurring again.
I think everybody got caught by surprise.
That's why I didn't want to leave him out.
Both base runners and maybe Perry. That's why you have a comprehensive post-game show, which we have.
So they can dig into all of that.
Oh, we have a beautiful set, all kinds of props, special effects. 2 award-winning journalists on the desk. Well, they'll be there, believe me, they'll be there. Right now in their trailer, not only prepping on the show rundown, but also the nuances of that rule. That one fouled back out of play. Jeff Conine changing into fresh socks.
Well, he's got pregame socks and he's got postgame socks.
Yeah, and they're both wonderful. And we'll have sound as well. We'll hear Don Mattingly's take on tonight. We'll hear from JT Realmuto. Marlins still have work to do to make this a win and turn it into a little bit of a less painful, albeit embarrassing moment. I think Jose's head actually bobbles more than his bobblehead. Here's a 2-2. Strikeout on a fastball that rode up and in on Realmuto. Here's Echeverria, and lost in all of this is the fact that Echeverria is 3 for 3 and had an enormous hit in the 6th that may have bought Jose Fernandez another half inning.
I believe you might be right. He swung the bat well all night. 2 really sharply hit balls.
Echeverria takes a strike. Brian Morris next to AJ Ramos. Morris is kind of in a wait and see mode. If the Marlins were to score a couple runs here, it would probably be Morris. But along the lines of what you said early, you don't want to waste all your bullets down there in the bullpen. You get to the point where you're close and you can warm up if something happens.
But and that's the difference between getting up and getting hot. You know, they'll tell Morris, hey, get up, get moving, make sure you're going. And Ramos, he's the guy that's in this situation ready to go, so he's the hot guy. They'll say, hey, get AJ hot.
Chopper, VR out there, and that turn is not made, and it ends up past the first baseman. Stays in play. There'll be no error. That's going to get Ichiro in at bat here in the 8th. And not a great effort by Carter. Had it bounce off of his glove. Wait a minute, where did it hit?
It hit off the screen over on the side. He didn't go in the dugout.
He did not go in.
No. I think Carter may have actually been caught off guard a little bit that they threw that ball, I think, because there wasn't really a whole lot of body language showing that it was going to be turned. The second baseman just kind of stood up straight and just really gave a really quick motion and threw it over there to first.
And Don Mattingly is coming to ask, because that's why I asked, Press. There is no screen on that part of the wall there. If it hit a post, it's in play. If it hits something like that box behind and came back, that's out of play. And let's take another look.
Watch the posture of the second baseman. So he's really standing up straight, not really in a crouch like most you see.
Now let's see what it hits.
Oh, that's why it didn't go out.
That's out of play. So that'll be an extra base. That's a reviewable. That's a nice catch by Pat Shine in the replay room.
And that's you get an error like that as a second baseman. See how upright his posture was. He wasn't really in that athletic position to turn and throw that ball, and he really kind of did it a little flat-footed. You get off-target throws like that when you just rely strictly on your arm.
This should not take long. And it'll put a runner in scoring position for the Ichiro at bat. And they're going to send Echeverria down to second. So Ozuna out on the force.
Get another look at it there. See the stretch by Carter. Ball pulls him off. And plunk right into the camera.
So E4 on a fielder's choice 6. Here's Ichiro, 2,948 hits. There was a question at the start of the season after Ichiro last year probably played too much and struggled in the last couple of months. How would Don Mattingly use him? And so far, the way the Marlins have used him has been quite effective. He still is a very good outfielder, so he'll come in late double switches. An occasional start. Takes outside there. Ichiro had a base hit yesterday, went 1 for 4, got a start in right field. That's down low. How many 3-0 cuts do you think Ichiro has had in his career? That would be, to me, an interesting stat to see what Ichiro is on 3-0 pitches. And he walks. That's why we have a baseball historian, although it may take John Chimchuk overnight to run that one down. Sorry, Jimmy, didn't mean to spring that one on you in the bottom of the 8th. All right, here's Dietrich. Singled in the 3rd, tripled and scored on a throwing error. That in the 7th. The middle infield of the Brewers has combined for 3 errors tonight. Rivera has 2, VR has 1. It's not quite Derek Jeter, but it is have a nice ring to it. Dietrich, center field. Ichiro steams in the 3rd. Echeverria scores. Dietrich with 3 hits, and Miami adds a run. It's 4-0.
Just keep on getting yourself some knocks from Dietrich. Just fights that one off enough to throw it over the middle infield, gets himself an RBI. Edge scores. Ichi moves to 3rd. Another add-on run for Dietrich.
Now here's Prado, who has hit it hard all night. He's 2 for 4, and his 2 outs have been bullets. A liner to second for a double play, and that liner to center that Neuenhuis caught with his back to the plate on the run at the warning track.
He hit that ball so well the last time.
There's your answer as to who would be coming in. Brian Morris is throwing, and now AJ plays the waiting game. And the goal, obviously, for Morris is to keep AJ waiting. Rivera on to first in time. Marlins pick up a run. Outtakes from Derek Dietrich, and the 9th. Eric Dietrich, 3 hits. Terrific job on the promos, and now the fun begins.
I will. It's just going through for one time. I got to get the glasses on. Join us today. Holy smokes, you guys are killer. That one's Brewski. Tongue twister on that one. It's Kids Eat Free Wednesday on May 11th as we face the at 7:10. Ichiro, edit that. Woo! Unbelievable. Are you guys going to interrupt? Look at Bone. Bone, get out of the picture.
Photo bombed.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Photo boned.
That's fun.
All right, now the fun is over, and it is A.J. Ramos who comes in. We thought Brian Morse was going to come in, but it's Ramos with a 4-0 lead. Carter's up, fastball strike. And you see A.J., that's not a save situation. The ERA very slender. He's got Carter, Neuenhuis, and then Colin Walsh is scheduled. But as we mentioned, Aaron Hill and Jonathan Lucroy are still around.
Good pitch right there. Good action on it. Like the location.
Milwaukee has just 5 hits. 2 of those came from Jonathan Villar in the leadoff spot. We had the pinch hit by Flores in the 8th. Obviously, you would expect Aaron Hill, right-handed bat. Jonathan Lucroy, right-handed bat. Both good ones in the lineup the next 2 nights, with Adam Conley and Wei-Yin Chen going on successive nights.
Do you think the Milwaukee Brewers at any point consider moving Lucroy?
Yes, I believe they've already explored it and thought about it. Ramos just missed the breaking ball outside. It's a total rebuild job, and the Brewers, their ownership, have made no bones about it. That's why they hired David Stearns from the Astros at just 30 years old, the assistant general manager. Lucroy is a catcher who can hit, and those guys are valuable. And I would expect the market will heat up for him as you get closer to July. That's a walk to Carter. And Ramos now faces Neuenhuis. Walsh is on deck.
Yeah, not only does Lucroy hit, but he also handles pitchers well. And as we saw him throw him out Billy Hamilton, he can throw it from back there as well.
Obviously, what they're trying to do in Milwaukee is duplicate what they accomplished in Houston, although things aren't going that well this year for the Astros after a postseason run last year.
But I think Houston Astros, they have something good going. I think they may have actually overachieved a little bit last year. They had some guys really do well for them that may have played a little bit above what the expectations were.
Oh, there's time, and there's time to put it in gear.
Oh, absolutely. It's still early. They still got a lot of time to get it going. But you got to like the direction that ball club is going in now, as opposed to a few years ago when it was really just in complete disarray.
I'm not sure you can like the direction this is going here with Ramos walking Carter, now 3-1 on Neuenhuis. AJ has somewhat of a cushion to work with. And he lost him, so Back-to-back walks to open the ninth. Nieves out. And he's on his way out. You've got Walsh, who is 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Lucroy has a bat and a helmet. And he's on deck. You know, Craig Counsell, you'd love to hit for Walsh, who is just 4 for 40. But your bench isn't that deep, and you're going to need, if the inning moves along, you're going to need Lucroy and Hill later in the inning. So you almost have to stick with Walsh. And he will hit. Lucroy still lurking on deck. And Ramos goes to work on the Rule 5 pick. And he misses in. At what point do you get Brian Morris back up?
That's a good question. I think you may have to see if this becomes a save situation for Ramos. But I think if the continued loss of the strike zone for Ramos is there.
Well, he's all of a sudden snapped back to form, and it's 1-2.
That's one of those Houdini changeups right there. Guy just pulls it out. You don't see the action. You don't know where it is, and you don't know how you don't hit it. There's a whole lot of don't knows going on in there, Rich.
Jose doesn't know if he's going to get the win. He's hopeful. There's a 1-2. And it's out. It has become, if Morris were to come in this game, it has become a save situation for him. Don Mattingly watching. BMO, it won't take long for him to loosen up. Pulled foul, if in fact it is he that gets up. AJ trying to keep him seated and trying to just get outs and finish this thing off. Full count, 3-2. There's Lucroy. Got him, looking. There's the first out.
He needed that pitch. Breaking ball. That's more of the curveball type breaking ball that he throws in there. Jose helps out the umpire with the call.
And here is Lucroy, finally emerges.
Definitely more of the slurvy variety on that breaking ball. Not that hard slant to it, that rolling break. A little bit more top to bottom. Lucroy sitting on a .327 average right now. 13 RBI. .33 hits and 101 at bats.
Yeah, he's having a nice year, probably moving his value up. He homered yesterday in the 5-4 win over the Reds. He threw out Billy Hamilton to end the game. And Hill is on deck. Foul back, 0-2. .4-0 Miami, but it's not coming easy here in the ninth for AJ Ramos, even though he's got a 4-run lead. Walks to Chris Carter and Kirk Neuenhuis. He struck out Colin Walsh, and he's 0-2 on Jonathan Lucroy. in the dirt, kicks away, everybody moves up, and that eliminates a shot at a game-ending double play. It's a wild pitch.
Not much of a chance for Real Muto to do anything with this. This ball bounces pretty well out in front of the plate. You can just hope to knock it down or maybe even smother it with your chest protector, but not a whole lot of technique catchers can learn to try to stop that ball from going back to the screen.
One and two. That Nationals-Tigers game is 4-4 in the bottom of the ninth. One, two. In the dirt. Well, the Nationals just won at Clint Robinson on a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth.
It's got to feel good for them after that, dropping 4 straight to the Cubs in Chicago, playing really good baseball all 4 games, and coming up on the short end of all of that to get a possible walk-off victory in D.C. tonight against the Detroit Tigers. And I say possible as we see that strikeout from Ramos, because it's actually being reviewed.
Jonathan Lucroy strikes out.
Oh, good tight break. Lucroy gives up on it, and that's all you need for that breaking ball, just to cause enough hesitation in the batter where he can't pull the trigger when it falls into the strike zone. Nice job getting that second strikeout by Ramos.
And so here's Aaron Hill. So AJ's gone walk, strikeout, strikeout. And Hill, who homered 3 times the other night in Cincinnati, is up.
Nice stop by Real Muto on that ball.
One of those was a grand slam. He drove in 7. Fastball in, and it's 2-0. So the walk-off by Robinson stands, and the Nationals, after getting swept by the Cubs in 4, beat the Tigers at home in dramatic fashion. Three and 0. And Brian Morris is loosening up. Well, here's the, Ramos is an out away from getting through it. The problem is, see the pitch count? He's 2 pitches shy of 30.
And that's when it affects
the rest of the series.
Yes, exactly.
Bags are loaded. Now the tying run is going to come to the plate, and Don Mattingly looks to Juan Nieves. Morris is ready. Has Mattingly seen enough? Domingo Santana is going to pinch hit. Mattingly waiting. And now, here he comes. And he's going to the bullpen. So what was not a save situation for A.J. Ramos becomes a save situation. And Brian Morris will come in and try to nail it down. With the tying run at the plate, pinch hitter Domingo Santana. Here's a Kendall Toyota call to the bullpen. The curious case of a save situation. It was 4-0 in the ninth. The Marlins had A.J. Ramos and Brian Morris up. Elected to go with Ramos, not a save situation, but the closer came in anyways. And he walked 3, struck out 2. Now it is a save situation, and it's Morris who comes in to relieve Ramos. And for Brian Morris, a guy that has been in major league bullpens since he got to the big leagues with the Pirates in 2012, he has never saved a game in the major leagues. All he needs is an out, and a sharp breaking ball starts the at-bat for Domingo Santana. Morris has been a workhorse, first with the Pirates and now with the Marlins. 0-1 pitch. That heavy sinking 95-mile-an-hour fastball misses out. So a nice opportunity here. The right-hander out of Tullahoma, Tennessee. Down low, and it's 2-1. Santana has a shoulder, his right shoulder, which has kept him out of the everyday lineup. This is in, and it's 3-1. Three walks, 2 strikeouts. The Brewers haven't put a ball in play, and yet they've got the tying run at the plate. And Morris misses outside and walks in a run. And here comes VR. Now the tying run is at first base.
That was a slider, if I'm not mistaken. And I guess the prevailing thought there is It's better to walk in one than to give up 4 by throwing a fastball, a meaty fastball in a fastball count, 3-1 count. But still an interesting pitch selection.
So here's VR, who is 2 for 4. Outfield deep.
Especially with 2 outs.
And Morris misses. The plate all of a sudden very elusive for both Ramos and Brian Morris. 1-0 coming. Fastball, a strike.
And the answer for that 3-1 slider may lie in that, is that he wasn't able to throw strikes with a fastball, so maybe felt like take a chance and see if you can get control of a breaking ball and get one in there for a strike.
One, and it's 1-2.
That's a good heavy sink, late action, and in a great location. Two guys having fun together.
Morris going after his first major league save. And he got it. Not easy. Jose gets the win. Morris gets his first major league save. And the Marlins open up this 3-game set with a win on what has been a really nice homestand. The Fish now 5-2 on the homestand. On an odd night tonight, Derek Dietrich with 3 hits. JT Realmuto with the homer that wasn't a homer. That has to feel good for Brian Morris.
Oh, yeah. Get his first big league save. Get a win.
Yeah, his 205th appearance in the big leagues and his first save. And so the Marlins win the ballgame. 4-1 is the final.